Think everything is working. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Good evening, sports nerds, and welcome back to North Sports Dynasty. I'm your host, Andrew Bear, and we're live, always and forever, from my basement. How is everybody doing this Friday? How the fuck are we enjoying the off season? What a crazy free agency in the NFL. What a shitty streak for some of these NHL teams. What good basketball, surprisingly, out there. Some good NASCAR races. It is time to dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of North Sports Dynasty. As always, I love you guys. This show, again, is always from my basement. This show is moved. It may not necessarily look like it. It kind of looks the same, I would say. You know, it's kind of there. I got the two whiteboards. You know, I'm in the middle. I got the microphone stand that I can dance around with. I'm still standing. I can now actually look at you guys. I got the screen right in front of me, so I got to make sure that I'm always looking at the camera. But I'm here. It's Friday. We're ready to talk some sports. How we doing? Drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know that you're all here. Making sure that I am actually like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I was just making sure YouTube was up. How the fuck is everybody doing? I missed everybody. What is going on, sir? Thank you for tuning in. The comment user. I actually forgot to put it on my phone so I can see, because I know if anyone saw, actually, I changed up the way that StreamYard does the way that you see the comments. So like when you see them, be like, yeah, you just, accepted here and blah, 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 blah. I added a little thing to it to make it just hopefully a little bit funnier. But yes, Sean Spencer, how's it going? The new place is nice. Like it really is. Look at, hold on. Let's see if I can do this without screwing up everything too much. So obviously I got the whiteboards here. I got all the, we don't really need to see all that stuff, but the rest of everything, got the TV there. All of the Bucs stuff is up just above there. This is the office. That's a little workout area. It's my ginger ass again. I'm right back right where I had it, right about there for now. Yeah, it's really nice. It's cozy. It's definitely like say smaller, respectively, from the last place. But you want to talk about like the nicest yard, dude? Oh my god, it's perfect. Sam Howell is gone. That is true. I see a let's go. George Sidoris, thank you for tuning in. Tank for Drake May 2024. You're all about it, which I'm gonna get into that in a little bit here, where I actually think he's gonna go. Hey, back at it again with the new place. You enjoying the new place? I am loving it. Robbie, thank you for tuning in. Looking good, sir. Thank you, my guys. All right. We got some stuff that we're going to talk about today. I got a segment that we're going to start off with. It's called To First or Not to First. That is the question, essentially. 8 years of juggling quarterbacks. We're going to talk about the Bucs versus the Falcons versus the Saints for the South. When the fuck did that actually become an actual thing that we can talk about? The free agency roundup, some draft news and updates will tell you some teams that are sniffing around certain players. The NHL, I will inevitably talk about my Red Wings in a bit. I don't fucking want to, but I have to. And we'll look at the playoff outlook, how the Oilers and the Maple Leafs and everybody is shaping up. News and updates from around the world on that. NBA, where does LeBron go? The playoff outlook, news and updates. There isn't too much crazy stuff happening in basketball besides the fact that we're about to lose our generational talent. And it's going to be gone forever. And we don't have another one up and coming. It's kind of scary. Everyone says it's Jaw. And I'm like, yeah, until, the guns, literally catch up to him. And that'll become the big issue. So let's start it off with the NFL segment I got here. To first or not to first, 8 years quarterbacks juggling. There are a lot of teams right now who are about to make a major franchise adjustment with a draft pick. Obviously, the first overall pick with the Chicago Bears, the second overall pick for the Washington Commanders, even the third overall pick for the New England Patriots. All of these teams are looking for new help at the quarterback position. And it seems that this draft has, for some odd reason, granted them a generational star that people are calling the next Andrew Luck and Caleb Williams, which to each their own. The next Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels, and the next Josh Allen and Drake May. And these are the comparisons being made on the daily throughout Twitter at the combines about these players. Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but there has been many times throughout history where the first round quarterback has not necessarily panned out. Though we are living in an era where some of the quarterbacks who don't necessarily pan out are not to necessarily be forgotten. Look at what Joe Flacco did last year. He literally stole an award from a dead guy, and he had to go and talk about it on the Pat McAfee show. You've got, Sam Howell getting in there. You got Geno Smith finally getting in there. Sam Howell I brought up too quick, but you got Geno Smith being, an 8th overall pick, and then all of a sudden became nothing and rejuvenized his career by going to Seattle and getting paid. What I'm saying is in the draft, everybody falls enamored with, 1 or 2 quarterbacks willing to trade everything. San Francisco, sorry, Joey, if you're watching, willing to trade everything out there to get the quarterback of their dreams that fits their scheme. But throughout history, Kirk Cousins right now has made the most money in the NFL. He's about to go to Atlanta, and he was a fourth round pick in a draft where they took RG3 the first overall. Now, not every team does this, and I'm not saying every team has to do this, but you can go to the next round. You can go outside of the norm and still find relevancy. You can still find franchise quarterbacks. And what I have here today is, by the way, they call me Big Board for a reason. The big boards are in use. Colin, thank you for tuning in. Kirk Cousins steady getting that loot. I hear you. What I have here is the last 8 years of drafted quarterbacks in the first round and the notable ones throughout the 2nd and the 7th, and where they kind of stand today and how it compares to the rest of the league and what we're kind of looking at right now, the transparency. Ben Cornett, good evening, sir. See you. I see Colin. I see Ben. Thank you guys for tuning in. So 2016, let's just start at 2016. Goff, Wentz, Paxton Lynch. Goff right now has got a rejuvenized career, respectively. Though I would say that he's been basically a franchise starter, bringing the Rams, obviously, to the finals, doing what he's been doing with the Detroit Lions. You got Carson Wentz, who was an MVP candidate before his injury. And then when he got injured, that's when the fall happened. So he's obviously not a franchise starter. We don't even need to get started with Paxton Lynch. That same year, though, Jacoby Brissett in the 3rd, who is now just signed by the New England Patriots, who drafted him, and he's going to be the stopgap. He's going to be the mentor. Dallas Cowboys also took this guy named Dak Prescott. Is he any good? 2 years ago, Dallas Cowboy fans couldn't get off my ass about how good he is. Now all I see online is how ass he is, apparently. It just shows you how messed up of a franchise and fan base that fucking people can be. That's 2 franchise quarterbacks to 1. 2017, Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson. We all know what Mahomes has become. He's the GOAT, essentially. He's the new GOAT. Trubisky, what the hell was Chicago thinking? And Deshaun Watson. Look, I'm not going to sit here and massage the stats. He's been good. Obviously, what happened to him off the field is probably one of the reasons why he's not doing so hot. But that draft, it's not the best. You got Beathard. Dobbs just started last year for 2 different teams. Wasn't the greatest, what Cardinal fans said, but he won some games. Wasn't the greatest Vikings fans, but he won some games. And Peterman won some games. 2018 saw Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. Josh Rosen obviously not being the one in there. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield are getting second chances on new squads. Obviously, Sam Darnold with the Vikings this year. Baker Mayfield getting that nice little kick being a buck. Josh Allen, Bills fans, you're welcome since we helped you get him. We were the team that you traded with. That one, though, really bad. We got Mason Rudolph. I can't put the star on this guy. Mike White, Luke Falk. Guys won games. Now, I'm not saying this draft class is in comparison to, say, like, you know, the other ones. 2019, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins. We're not even going to start talking about the how he was as a player. The guy was a good person in general for Dwayne Haskins. So he's kind of nullified in this. Daniel Jones is right in the middle, but bust? Unless the Giants kind of move on, we don't know necessarily. I mean, he's shown flashes here and there, but he's also shown some shit. Kyler Murray is the best thing that came out of that draft, respectively. After that, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Jared Stidham, Chase McSorley. Drew Lock is a starting backup right now. Okay? Starting backup. Jameis Winston. Whoops. I love that. That's a star. That's a star of the night. You also got Gardner Minshew, who is about to go, by the way. Gardner Minshew is probably one of the coolest things to happen to the Raiders in a long time. Just putting that out there. Back to the board. It's a pretty even split already, wouldn't you say? But then when you go over here, this is where it starts to kind of get a little bit lopsided. You have the Joe Burrow to Justin Herbert, Love. Hurts and DiNucci, 2nd and 7th rounders. 2nd and 7th rounders both started in that division. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones is not looking good. Not looking good. Kenny Pickett. I don't even need to touch that one. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. When you look at the quarterbacks that were taken in the 2nd round after that, Davis Mills, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Brock Purdy, Will Levis, Aiden O'Connell. Those ones I'm bringing up as your notables because they have won games and they have started. Out of all of these drafts, 25% of them have been better than the 1st round draft picks. So what does that mean? Like, Andrew, you can't tell me that you can just go into the round. Like, look at some of these guys that you said that you're saying are starters and you want me to pick these players to run my franchise. Well, I'm not necessarily saying that. What I'm saying is this. In this year's draft, same type of deal that you saw in 2021 with 5 quarterbacks going in the 1st round. Same deal as in 2020 with 4. Same deal as in 2018 with 5. There's multiple quarterbacks to pick. Now, also said in those, Davis Mills, the starter. Hurts, DiNucci, 2018, a little different with the Mason Rudolph. You find starters in later rounds. Do they become franchise-altering quarterbacks? You get to the Prescotts and you get to the Purdys. We don't necessarily know what Sam Howell is. He's going to Seattle to be given a real chance. And this is no slate, to any of my Commander fans out there. We know that it wasn't necessarily your fault last year. It's been a bit of a mess. Everybody's just trying to scramble to get some picks, to get the right squad around the new ownership and the new mentality of what it's going to be like. Who knows if it's even going to be called the Commanders going forward. But Sam Howell wasn't given the appropriate chance last year. And now he's going to be given a chance in Seattle. Seattle will probably still go after, Penix or something like that, but we'll get to that. 25% in the last 8 years has arguably a quarterback after the first round been better. Now, yes, that's still 75%. I get that. But how often do some of these teams who really desperately need a quarterback suck that bad and get the first round pick, like first overall pick? Do the Steelers get the first overall pick? No. Do the Vikings usually get the first overall pick? No. What about the Packers? No. These teams don't suck that bad every year because of fan bases. They got to put butts in the seats. They got to sell tickets. So they at least still try, and you got to respect them for it. But now when it comes to decisions like, what kind of quarterback do I get? Well, when you look at the draft, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May are essentially your picks 1 through 3. With now and only the last couple of days, has there been talk on the Drake May front that he may not even necessarily be the third one that people want? It's almost a foregone conclusion, respectively, that it is going to be Caleb, the number 1 overall pick, whether it is Chicago. It seems about 98% that way. Jaden Daniels is more than likely going to Washington. This is what I'm hearing from people on Twitter who are obviously in the know. You just got to follow the breadcrumbs. Drake May is falling only because of him going to the Patriots. The Patriots don't want necessarily like the project. Christopher Cole, I see you, buddy. How you doing? Hello to you. They want a starter that's going to go in and just tear it up. Josh Allen was not the greatest in his second year. Took him a little bit, and he finally got a little bit better. Drake May, if he is being compared to Josh Allen, is going to need to be in a system where he can be given a year. That's why somewhere like Minnesota will work. But Minnesota doesn't have the 3rd overall pick right now. JJ McCarthy, he's a wild card right now. He's anywhere between the 4th and the 12th overall pick, respectively. Say in Minnesota, Denver. If Tennessee's not sold on Will Levis and they're not showing their hands and they go after JJ McCarthy, I could see that too. The Bo Nix and Penix are the unknown because they're first-round talents. But where does that first-round talent fall? The reason why I say this is because someone like Bo Nix and Penix could fall to like 33, 34. That makes them a second rounder. That means you don't get that 5th-year option. That means you have to bring them into your system right away. Teams like Minnesota, they would benefit from that, obviously. Penix would benefit from going to Atlanta if he wanted to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a little bit. You got other teams out there like Seattle. The Giants even, I don't think the 49ers are going to go with anybody else, but even the Lions. The Lions could be looking for a replacement right now as well. But for Viking fans out there especially, Viking fans seeing that trade that they made today are like, okay, so what are we doing? Well, you're probably now right about here. Is you could possibly get Drake May. You could possibly get JJ McCarthy. You're probably in the best spot to get JJ McCarthy right now, respectively, unless somebody else has already told an owner in the top 10 that they want him that. And with Jim Hobbs coming in here, doing his thing, talking to owners, talking to GMs, him being another voice in the ear of this draft, this guy knows what he's looked at, what JJ is. This talk of who the fuck is this guy? Why does anybody think that he's going to come in here, be a starter, and do anything? Now, all of a sudden, because one of the most prolific head coaches in all of NCAA, not named Nick Saban or Urban Meyer in the last little while, came out and talked highly about this guy. I think Jordan Love is going to kick ass quarterback for the Packers this year. This team is young. They're going to mesh well mid-season. Tina, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I also agree. Surprise out of nowhere was the Packers. And that sucks for the Viking fans too. because of how good the Packers are going to be, how good the Lions are going to be, and if the Chicago Bears get Caleb Williams, and with all the pieces that they've added, they're more than likely going to be good for a couple of years. So it does suck for the Vikings, and they do need to do something. They got to compete. Oh, I get it. They have not won anything, and they're the ones that really want it. Like all these other teams who have won championships, they keep re-winning, and they keep re-adding. Whereas teams who have not won before are starting to inch closer and closer. The Bengals just got to the finals a couple of years ago and have really got their fan base right back into it. The Vikings with the trade that they made today with the Houston Texans, or yesterday, one of the two, though, that is what puts them in a position right here. But you can basically count Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels out. That's Chicago, respectively, or the Commanders. I don't see how the Commanders, having someone like Cliff Kingsbury, go outside of his norm for a quarterback with the skill of running, with the skill of the air raid. Like Jaden's package that he had at LSU, maybe a little bit more of a basic, but he had the legs and he had the ability. And he also, when he scrambles, and you got the spread formation out there a little bit, it's basically a glorified air raid. Opposite way. I was like, wait a second, I said that wrong. Air raid is essentially a glorified spread. So if he succeeded when he did the spread, that's what Cliff is looking for. Obviously, Cliff would like Caleb, but that's not what's looking like it's going to fall into the cards. And if Chicago is going to trade this pick out, though, they're not going to trade it within division either to the Vikings. So the other ones I want to get to, though, is this. So if you are the Vikings, you're the Raiders, you're even the Jets, you're one of these teams who has a backup quarterback, or you're in the midst of a vet, and you need to bring someone in there who can just learn the system, learn the playbook, learn the calls, come in there just in case there's some injuries, be essentially the Jordan Love for that team in 3 or 4 years. You're looking at the Pratts and the Rattlers and the Miltons right here. That's what I call the next batch. They would succeed under the right system, the right team, and the right head coach. You can't just grab Sam Rattler and throw him on the Patriots and think you're going to get the best thing out of him. No. You want the best thing out of Sam Rattler, you throw him on the Raiders, you throw him on the Saints, you throw him on the Rams with those type of teams with those type of mentalities. The Pratt one also intrigues me because a lot of people are sleeping on this guy from Tulane. And if we're looking at what Drake May did in college, we need to be looking at what Michael Pratt did. This guy has an arm. It's the intricacies, the small passes that he has a hard time with. That to me looks more like the Josh Allen on tape. But he's got the it factor, respectively, from my eyes. And that right there is teams like, say, for example, the Jets, or you're looking at the Browns, you're looking at the Dolphins, you're looking at the Giants, respectively, if they don't go for a quarterback at 6. Those teams right there have starters in place right now, but there's always been the question marks around those starters. And if you have that quarterback right there in your system ready to go after he has learned everything, is the most beneficial thing for you. Ben Cornett, I see this smart move for the Bears, in my opinion, is trade that first overall pick for more. Bears also have the 9th pick in the first round as well. It's an incredible opportunity to build this team for years to come. I agree. You were gifted essentially the first overall pick because you traded your first overall pick to a guy. And I think they got the 7th overall pick back. You could ask for the world, essentially. This is Caleb fucking Williams. And I was actually talking to Ray Kennedy about this. I have talked to a couple other people about this. Caleb Williams is generational, yes. But is he like Jamarcus Russell generational? Or is he more like the Andrew Luck generational? And if you're Chicago, it was said, I think, on the Pat McAfee show today as well. If you keep Justin Fields and he succeeds, you got to pay him after next year. That's going to suck. Whereas if you get Caleb, you reset that for at least 5. And it's the same, and you're paying the same amount. You pay all these other guys, which is what they look like they've been doing in this offseason. So it's making it assume to me that that's the direction that they're going. But I also agree. I would just trade the fuck out of it. I would just take picks for days, man. Jordan Travis, Sam Hartman, Devin Leary. I wanted to bring these guys up. These are the backups. The best shot at being underdog starters, especially Sam Hartman. He is older. He does know more because he is more mature. He can and for some odd reason he holds a lot of information. He's a very, very smart dude. He's got a bit of like an edge, like a little bit of an attitude edge, like not like in a bad way, like a he's ready to fucking go. So those are the other guys too that if you're looking at like San Francisco and Dallas, Buffalo, the Colts, even though they just got Joe Flacco, you can put this guy in there. The Rams, maybe not the Eagles, I guess, but you look around. Those type of guys fit into those systems where they can sit there and they can actually learn a little bit more. They don't have to be asked to do much. You already have the superstar in house, so it's like just sit back, relax, learn the system. If something happens to these guys, you got to come in, you got to like succeed. But Sam Hartman is possibly your next Kirk Cousins. I'm just saying. Like Sean Spencer might have been right about this from the start. Especially the way that it's looking in this draft where, everybody's talking about, oh, maybe there's only 4 quarterbacks that are good. And, oh, maybe there's no running backs that are that good. And, oh, the edges after like the 5th or 6th one are kind of thin. I'm like, yeah, we keep hearing this every year. And I bet you the Washington edge, who his name, I still get Tupu, I still can't remember his name. Like a 3rd-round projected guy, and I'm going to get his name right. That's going to be a dude who's going to steal the show. Or it's going to be Braylon Allen, the running back from Wisconsin. Those are the types of guys that are going to steal the show. These are the guys who are going to go in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. Like these are dudes who are going to make teams way better, way too quick. Like we talk about Derrick Henry going to the Ravens. A lot of people are all high up on it, and I think respectively it's a good signing, especially if he comes in like 100%. I'm healthy, I'm getting my payday, and I'm fucking out. I'm going with the Ravens. We're doing this, and I'm fucking out. Listen, that is very good. I like that pick. But there are players in this draft that if they go to the right places, we got fucking issues. We're talking like if Xavier Worthy were to go to the Chiefs with Marquise Brown, we got issues. We're talking Xavier Worthy goes to the Dolphins, we got issues. We're talking if like Dallas Turner goes to the Houston Texans, which is definitely not looking like it's going to happen. But those are the type of things that you don't want to happen. Just like in certain situations with these quarterbacks. You don't want Milton III to fall to, the Ravens in the 3rd round. And they say, yeah, fuck it. Just in case. The poor man's Lamar Jackson. You don't want Sam Rattler going in the 2nd or 3rd round to the Las Vegas Raiders and that attitude being able to be like flourished and pulled out of him by the Raider fandom. You don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want Michael Pratt going to the fucking Bucs and learning under our new offensive coordinator and sitting there for a couple of years and getting Trask cut because he's like, I'm the fucking backup. And then all of a sudden a bang up happens to Baker because inevitably he's going to take a run and he's going to hit somebody with his shoulder. He's going to come out a couple plays. And all of a sudden Michael Pratt's going to take an 80-yard bomb down to Evans. Ain't nobody going to want that. There's certain places where teams and players or where players can go to certain teams. And they're just not where you want that player to go. I don't want Penix to go to Seattle. I don't want Knicks to go to Denver. I want J.J. McCarthy to go to Minnesota. These just seem like all smart placements for these guys. By the way, 52% of the first round have been quarterbacks. All time. All time. That's still a good percentage. That is still a very, very good percentage. That is not the percentage I want to follow. Give me that 25% from rounds 2 to 7. Give me a Jalen Hurts. Give me a Dak Prescott. Give me a Gardner. Give me a Brock Purdy. Give me some of these guys. And even possibly, depending on how it goes, give me a Will Levis. Okay, so let's get into the Bucs versus the Falcons versus the Saints here for a second. Kurt's now on the Falcons. I joked with Kyle Yacy. Everybody knows Kyle Yacy. I don't even start explaining who the fuck Kyle is. Okay, Kyle is the loudest Atlanta Falcons fan you'll ever meet, and he's very excited, obviously, as he should be. And now all of a sudden, that loudness is going to escalate into like insane fandom out of this guy. The Falcons paid a lot of money for a dude who is actually going to come in and really, honestly, he's going to do a fantastic job, in my opinion, with that offense. Like, you get Drake London, you get Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. You know what I mean? You still got some of those other guys that are on there. They could literally do anything with that 8th overall pick. They could grab Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors could be there, and same with Roma Dunze. Those guys could literally still be on the board. And just like we keep saying every year, when they keep adding more and more and more offensive pieces, how ridiculous. A tight end that was taken number 3, a running back that was taken number 8. Yeah. And then Drake London, who I believe was also taken number 8 or 10. Like that, and then all of a sudden you're gonna add more pieces. Like if Rome would be just like so. You just need better jerseys, Kyle, and all my other Falcon fans out there. You need better jerseys. It's like watching the Buccaneers with the alarm clock jerseys again. Listen, I love that the pretty lady bought me a Mike Evans jersey back in the day as my first ever jersey. I was in love with that thing. But I would be lying to you if I said that, it still was like, it's the fucking alarm clock one. I wish you would have just gone throwback, or just like something. Still loved it, but I did not love the alarm clock looking fucking jerseys. Those things were an atrocity. That was one of the worst parts of being a Buccaneers fan. So if you're in Atlanta right now, go have one nice season and go change those fucking jerseys, please. Like, go change it back to like when the Roddy White and Julio Jones era were going off. Those were fun. Okay, back to the South though. I think everyone here can understand that the Panthers aren't going to do fuck all. They might steal 4 wins this year in a whole, but they're not going to compete in the South. It's between the Bucs, it's between the Falcons, and it's between the Saints. I would probably still put my money on the Saints. Because the same year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, by the way, that's where we got this beautiful fucking thing right here. Y'all want to see that sparkle? That's a Super Bowl ring, just in case y'all didn't know. It's not an actual one, obviously. I wasn't part of the fucking team. It's a replica, and it's where all my cocaine is stored, allegedly. But we have one of these. I'm not going to be able to get it off my finger now. We have one of these. And we got one of these by doing the right thing. And we got it the same year that the Saints won the division. So this is what I propose to you, Falcon fans, is you want to have a good season, but if you want to compete in the postseason, I'm not saying struggle, like go out and purposely struggle. I'm not saying that at all. But if you struggle off the bat, it's not the worst thing ever. The Bucs struggled a little bit. I think they were 6-6 before inevitably winning 4 straight and got to 5th overall, and then right to the Super Bowl. Again, not saying you're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know who's going to the Super Bowl just yet. I haven't made any of those predictions, but Falcons have got a shot just like anybody else. You go to the postseason, you have a shot. Falcons have like the teams right now that everybody needs to start getting on board in for playoffs opportunities. Not saying the Titans, though I do think the Titans are going to be a little bit better than people expect. I just don't think they're going to be playoff bound. I think the Falcons are going to the playoffs right now with Kirk Cousins and even whatever the fuck they do in the draft. You can grab a wide receiver, think you're going to the playoffs. You can grab Dallas Turner, still think you're going to the playoffs. You can grab an offensive lineman, definitely think you're probably going to the playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals, that Kyler Murray is back healthy. They got the 4th overall pick. Who fucking knows who's going to be available there or who they want to choose there? Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like the most intriguing pick for them at number 4. That's what I would assume if you were smart, they would probably take. But this is also the Cardinals, so who the fuck knows? And the other one that I got right now is the Colts. And obviously, everyone's I think they made it last year or they just were out. I cannot remember. But the Colts are going to be a lot better than everybody thinks. Like, a lot better. If Anthony Richardson comes back 100% healthy, learning from Joe Flacco, or even if Joe Flacco's just got to come in there and slang things for a couple of weeks at the beginning until Anthony Richardson is 100% ready to go and learns that fucking playbook and stops running like he is a linebacker into people, I think the Colts are going to be a fucking generational team for quite some time. They know how to draft. That's the other side of it too. The Colts definitely know how to draft teams. All right. So I am probably gonna take the Saints for the South. I still think the Buccaneers obviously go to the playoffs, but those 3 teams right there are going to be battling out for the South and probably the wild card spot. So who knows? All right, let me get into it. I need to be loud. I stop talking about football for a second. So if you know, being a Red Wings fan, maybe being a hockey fan in general, it's not easy when it's been a few years and you haven't made the playoffs and you all you want to do is see your team succeed. That's all you want to do. All you want to be given this tease, this here, you want the postseason? It's right here. You want to go to the playoffs? You want to play the Maple Leafs? It's right here. It's right here. Oh, it's gone. Gone. And no, we're not officially eliminated. No, we're not technically done. But this is getting really fucking ridiculous right now. 7 straight losses, captain not in, and it's not even losing. It's who the fuck we're losing to. I don't mind the Coyotes. I don't give a fuck that they're in an arena with 5,000 people. I don't fucking care. What I care about is the fact that you cannot lose to that team. That team is young, and they traded all of their players who were of any type of relevance in the veteran class out at trade deadline time. Gone. Just bye. And what did Detroit do? What did Detroit do? We traded Klim fucking Kostin out. One of the only people who actually knew how to throw the body around and hit people. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no want. There's no give. There's no take. There's no nothing. They just hit the ice and the fucking puck goes one way and they skate the complete opposite way. We got our own dudes fighting each other in practice, and then all of a sudden everyone thinks it's cute when they're in the fucking penalty box together because he's like, oh, look, and he came to his fucking rescue and stuff like that. Grow up. We still lost. And it's not even the fact that we lost. We lost 4-1 at home to the fucking Coyotes, who are are getting draft capital. They are getting draft players because they can't keep anybody because they don't have a fucking arena. No fan base. I'm an original 6 fucking team. I have a whole big fucking Red Wings little thing literally right here. I'm touching it. Literally touching it. I don't want to touch it anymore. 7 straight games. You want to know what has happened too? We're going to put the priority logo right over the side here. That's going to help. Fuck off. I bring the Pat McAfee show up again. They even today want to take a shot at the Red Wings. They're like, oh, I saw the fucking shot. The Penguins haven't been relevant since the fucking offseason, okay? What a couple years, Andrew. I get it. Crosby is old. And this whole narrative that he's going to lead the 2026 Canada team, grow up. It's McDavid and Bedard's team, and everybody can fuck off and get that old man out of here. Go up into the stands like Mario did. I love my Red Wings. I love hockey. I love watching my team do good. It is very, very, very difficult to watch a team go from being very, very good and dominating to then get spanked by the Oilers, which hurts. Because then I got to deal with that obnoxious fan base, to then losing to the Coyote fan base, who is almost as obnoxious, and then I got to deal with like Maple Leaf guys just like, I just want to watch playoff hockey again, and I want my captain back. It's an injury. And I understand that we cannot rush an injury because, man. Kyle, thank you for tuning in, buddy. But I got to put that up on the screen. I got to put it like right underneath, right there. Fuck you, Go Oilers. I love you, buddy. I missed you. How about those fucking Falcons? When you just get here, I literally just finished talking about that, too. Oh, that's funny. Much love. Miss you, buddy. I just want postseason. I just want to bang it with the Bruins and the Maple Leafs and apparently the Panthers here and the Lightning. That's what I want. But instead, I'm giving my playoff fucking position right now to the Islanders. To the fucking Islanders. It hurts. It sucks. It's been bad play all around. And I did say at the beginning of the season, we're going to be right at the cusp. We're either going to be the last team that makes it in, or we're going to be like the last team that makes it out. That's where we're at. And that's literally in real life right now where we stand. We're just outside. We're like tied with the Islanders. I'd have to check some of the scores from tonight, but we were tied with the Islanders. Besides Matt Barzal and their goalie, what the fuck else do they have? I know they actually they have. I'm mad. Okay? It's been a while. And to a lot of people who have said, well, your team sucked. And I blamed Holland for a while. And then when I started to really dig into everything, and I was like, why did we have Zetterberg and Datsuk, past, not to say they're primes, but look, what happened? And it was the owner dying, and he wanted to see these players stay. And I get that. That's where I'm like, okay, sure. And the fan base is starting to get mad though. Myself, I'm mad at this. I'm not giving up on Yzerman and his Yzer plan. Like, I don't want anybody else to come in there and do anything at all. I'm just saying. I just want a little bit more consistency. Because we have some good players. We have some good drafts. But holy fuck, man. They're young players, and I get it. They got to start clicking in here soon. Oilers actually have a shot this year. Dude, I agree. There's a reason at the beginning of the season, and not you, but there's a reason at the beginning of the season where a lot of Oiler fans lost all fucking hope. They're like, nope, We lost to the Sharks and we got beat by the Canucks the first game that bad. And everybody was like, oh my God, we lost to the Canucks. And now everybody saw what the Canucks are this year. The fucking brick shit house. But to say like the Oilers are, a lot of people jump ship and they're like, okay, well, Draisaitl's not coming back. Let's just see what we can go get for him. I'm like, you guys, like those guys, not you, Kyle, or some of the other guys we know, but the people who are saying that, I'm like, you guys are fucking dumb. Well, I would be literally selling out every other contract besides Draisaitl and McDavid's until they're done. Because and you're an Oilers fan, and there's a few other Oilers fans out there who know, and especially anybody who is a fan of a Canadian hockey team. It's not easy to keep players around. It's not easy to cheer for these teams when they start sucking because the prices to go see just randos on the ice sucks. Just like in a conversation we were in a group chat today, I think with Brad. Brad was saying that the playoff tickets are like $2,000 more than the season tickets. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. I understand it though, because the NHL doesn't generate as much money as, say, the NFL or the MLB or UFC or even the NBA. I totally get it. But also at the same time too, if you keep making people pay this much, especially in Canada, to go see these games, with the Kraken finally being up here and stuff like that, Calgary's going to get a new arena, their prices are going to skyrocket, right? And then who's going to want to come and see any of these players if there isn't anybody here? Oilers got lucky with the draft when they got McDavid, right? So, just the way that it is. Hashtag thank you all in 2024. I like that too. That's getting a star. That's really good. I'm saying it now. Canadian team wins it this year. Wow. First of all, to any American watching, if Canada were to have any teams in the Stanley Cup Finals this year, it would be insane, especially the ones that are in playoff contention right now. So you got Edmonton, Toronto, Winnipeg, and I think and Vancouver. Those four fan bases alone. Calgary surprisingly is still in it too. But for this conversation, I'm just going to throw those four. If Edmonton goes to the finals, I am even going as close as I can to that fucking arena for almost every single playoff game. It's rowdiness. I would be there supporting like Kyle and a couple other of my Oiler friends. You got the Jets, who Robbie I know is watching here. Robbie is a Jets fan. I'd be around him supporting him. But my goodness gracious, anybody coming in and out of Winnipeg as the other team supporting, would not enjoy themselves at all. Not even in this life. There is nowhere for you to run, okay? For if the Jets were, say, playing from the East, the Lightning, for example, in the Stanley Cup Finals, you Tampa Bay fans ain't going to like coming to Winnipeg in the middle of fucking June if they actually got something to celebrate up there, okay? You guys are going to want to stay in your hotels because they'll shoot flares off. Like, it'll be bad. And then you talk about the two absolute worst fan bases if they got to the Stanley Cup Finals, because win or lose, they will do so much destruction to their cities, and that is Vancouver and especially Toronto. Vancouver's done it twice. The worst one happening in 94 when Marc Messier said, I am going to win this motherfucker myself. I will make sure that we win. And he did. And Vancouver was like, the fuck? The fuck? Vancouver versus Boston again? Listen, Canada shuts down if that happens. I don't even think the Prime Minister would allow that to fucking happen. We can't do that again. Okay? It was the Rangers the first time, Boston the second time, and I remember the Boston one because it was all over the fucking news. And that one was still pretty bad. They made a documentary about it. I'd up in a cell somehow. I actually said on a show before too, if for some odd reason in the next few years, because it ain't going to happen this year, and not going to happen next year, the year after that, and maybe the year after that, if for some odd reason it was Edmonton versus Detroit in the playoffs, Kyle, and to all the rest of you Oiler fans, if you don't think that I would show up with a fucking octopus underneath my fucking pant leg ready to go, you are sadly mistaken. 110% taken the fine, the jail time, and all of that shit. I have prepped it with Kim. I have prepped it with family members and told them, like, you can't tell anybody I'm doing this either. Like, my admission is right here. That's the only time you're going to find it. If it happens where it's Edmonton and Detroit, you can text me and call me. I'm not going to tell you it's going to happen. You just better know that the octopus is in the pants at that point. I'm going to clip that. The octopus is in the pants. But yeah, Vancouver, we saw what happened. The one thing we have not seen happen is what happens if Toronto makes it. If Toronto Maple Leafs made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, okay? I have said this on many of different platforms. You lose, it's going to be like Vancouver. It's not going to be the prettiest of sights, and it's going to be a lot of animosity towards anybody wearing any other color but their own. Like the guy, the father who was pushed off of the overpass as a Bruin fan in Vancouver. Our hearts and our prayers always go out to him because of that riot and the bad things that happened. These kids never should have deserved to see that. But that is what happens in Canada. Everyone talks about soccer, European football, and what happens that is us with hockey. Okay? That is what happens. All right? And it for Toronto. That's if you lost, that nobody gonna want to go into that fucking place for at least 24, 48 hours. Now, if they win, Toronto, the city, the greater Toronto area, the province of fucking Ontario would shut down for a week at least. The parade that would happen, the party that would happen, not a single person would be fucking working. They would invite every single person around the world who ever loved the Leafs and would give them a $150 travel voucher to get to Toronto. That is what would happen. And what I am saying right now may not even be the peak or the first little rung of the ladder of how fucking ridiculous that party would be. Listen, Oiler fans, Red Wing fans, like, we're all gonna get drunk and celebrate and have our fans and our MVPs and our past guys come back, and they're gonna be part of anything that we ever do for like any championships and this, that, and everything else. What would happen if Toronto wins would be the most ridiculous thing ever. And let's not even fucking kid ourselves that every single Maple Leaf fan that we know would remind us every single fucking day that they have the Stanley Cup now. They'd be like, hey, it's been 67 days since we won the cup. Kind of shit. Oh, God, that was not a good idea. But that's what they would do. They would literally, like, every single day would just be an absolute fucking mess to be a Maple Leafs fan. They wouldn't even care. They wouldn't even let the next season happen. They wouldn't even care. They'd be like, oh, the next season after that, it'd be like the Stanley Cup goes to the Minnesota Wild. They'd be like, cool. And we won it last year. Like, that would be so bad. Let me see here. How old are you when you realize that Captain Kirk is taking us to the Super Bowl? Oh, that took me a fucking second, Kyle. Jesus. And then, bro, I feel this may happen, Mark. 30 years to the year since the Canadian team won would be crazy. It's Oilers killing their 30-year loss of no cups. Also agree. Toronto will make it happen when Dallas makes it to a Super Bowl. Stupidest thing I've heard all day. Oh, fuck, I love you, Kyle. You're on some heavy stuff right now. Give this guy a DNA test right now. Oh, fuck. Buddy, you think I want that? I know two people. Jared Martin, if you're out there, I know would be the first fucking person that would do it. Jared Martin would message me every day, being like, "Hey, Fulbert, hope you're having a great day. This is just your friendly reminder that the Toronto Maple Leafs are your Stanley Cup winners." I would get those type of messages every day. I would get those posts on my wall every day. I would have Christmas cards sent to me of that shit. Do you understand what I have put my friends through back home in Ontario? This is what I see. Kids watching on my phone. Hi, Daddy. Mav, he can't hear you, so he goes loud. Hi, kids. Obviously, I'm in the new, we're in the new place. And the kids are literally above me. This is actually cool. If anybody remembers the place from last time, they know that when I did the show, right about here was this drop down. So every time I would do this, I would hit my head very, very hard, and I almost knocked myself out one show. I am all clear. I have free roam. The only thing I can't hit is literally right here, because that's all my Red Wings gear. And to be honest, they lose any more fucking games like we are, I am probably going to lose my shit and let it all just fall down. So, Kyle said, if Toronto wins the cup, I'm moving to Italy. Dude, okay, it's one thing. Again, it's one thing when you look at all of our people like we cheer for, the fan bases and stuff like that. If the Broncos win, Robert's gonna rub it in our faces. I've had to hear about the Colorado Stanley Cup like every fucking year. Okay. Alex would probably. I would see Alex getting a little. The Lions won. Bitch. Like I can see him doing some shit like that. But my dude, I don't want to ever. Because even I'm not an Oilers fan. Everybody knows Red Wings. And I hold no bias to any Oiler, Edmonton, any of that. But if they won the cup, say before McDavid, and I had to hear the Matthews is better than McDavid shit, even I would fucking puke. I would be like, no. I would be like, no, thank you. Alex probably already, his last year was their Super Bowl. Andrew Davis, thank you for doing it. I don't know. I think Alex is a little bit more. I think Alex is looking forward to next year. The fact that his coordinators didn't leave, and the fact that his head coach got a major extension, I think is the reason why he's holding the hope still. I even still think that the Lions have a good shot. If they played the 49ers again, I think that game goes a little bit differently. So I don't think, and also, come on, let's all be realistic here. If the Lions won a Super Bowl, I don't think Alex would shut up about it. I think he would remind everybody every day. Nicole, are you talking Toronto? Sadly, yes. We were talking about if Canadian teams, and Kyle makes a good point. He said earlier he thinks this is the year that a Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup. I think that there's a very good shot that a Canadian team goes to the Stanley Cup Finals. It would be really, really cool, though, if it was something like Edmonton and Toronto. As much as I know Kyle and a few other people would absolutely hate that. But give me two Canadian teams in the finals. And sadly, right now, it just seems like it would be insert team from the West and then Toronto, because nobody from the East, I don't think. Ottawa is not that good right now. And the other one is Montreal, and Montreal really, really sucks. So, I would probably be the only Lions fan ever see. I mean, it. I think if the Lions won it, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. If the Lions won it next year, and they kept most of those players and the offensive coordinator, if Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn said, no, we're all just saying, fuck this, and we're just going to run it back, all the way through, or this, that, and everything. Then I would be, I'd be compelled to be like, no, let's go. But I'm also in the mindset of, unless you have Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, you're not getting the best out of Dan Campbell, because you need those type of coordinators in order to get the best type of coaching out of Dan Campbell. And when I mean coaching, I do mean him on the field, the way that he goes for it, like with the punting and all that kind of stuff. The timeouts, the way that he utilizes those, but like it's coaching like to the players like on training camp, I think would all be the same. But no, if it was just Dan Campbell and they won it, I do, yeah, and I'm sorry, Alex. I think that's call them a poverty. Ran the best for me enter the league and a top 10 wide receiver out of the league. I'm starring Matt. Alex knows that too. But yes. But also the ownership has changed respectively. I think some teams need certain resets in order to see maybe what they used to have that wasn't necessarily as good. I know, like, the Bengals aren't going to be sold anytime soon, but once their owner kind of sees that, they need a few more things and spend a couple more bucks, maybe they'll actually get over that hump. Consider they've been thrown opportunity after opportunity. So, also, speaking of opportunities, I have an opportunity to watch some Marvel content tonight with the pretty lady, and I can't do that unless the kids go to sleep. So that is why I have this beautiful window that the pretty lady allows me every single day or every Friday to do this show. And that is now coming to an end. Still a Ford crappy cars, crappy football franchise. I hate Fords. Kim's got a Ford that's starting to make noises. Anyways, I want to thank every single person who's in the comments tonight. Shout out Kyle. Shout out, I think that was Nicole. Yeah, Nicole. Shout out Robbie. Shout out Andrew. Shout out every single person. Shout out Sean Spencer. Let me see who else was in the comments. Ben Cornett, Tina, Colin, George. Thank you, everybody who is in the show tonight. Welcome again to the new headquarters. This is definitely where all the shows are going to be going forward. Next week on Friday, there is an opportunity, one, to have a couple of guests on. That's right. And two, this is going to be an open invitation. I'll actually make a post about this. But if anybody wants to come on and play a round of what we used to do here called Jeopardy, that's right. We used to play Jeopardy here. I have actually made the next game or two. So all I need is 3 people. It can be fans if they want. I'll make a post if anybody wants to come in and play some Jeopardy. It's all sports related and stuff like that. I believe last season's big winner was Alex. I think he won more than the other guys. I'm pretty sure he won more than the other guys. So this off season, I'm going to do some games, obviously. I am still going to reach out to, obviously, I make a big post to some fans of certain teams to do the history lesson of some of the NFL teams. So, like, for example, since Andrew Davis is here, I would be reaching out to him to do the Giants. Kyle would be one of the Atlanta guys that I would be talking to, and so on and so forth. And we'd be doing a whole episode based on those teams and the history of what those teams have done, the players and the coaches, and some of the big things that have gone on throughout that franchise. Also, I don't have the picture up here, but I am soon going to be doing the Nostalgia Show. I am working on it. I'm probably actually going to be working on it tonight after watching Infinity Wars. I'm going to be sitting there writing a bunch of stuff for the show. If I'm not doing other things, giggity. So keep an eye out for that. I was hoping to get it set out at the end of April. It might actually be the end of May. But I do want to get those episodes out before I inevitably go back home for the summer, which I'm still trying to do. So shout out to all my Thunder Bay peeps. I'll see you guys at the camping trip. And shout out to everybody who is here again, to all my sports nerds. Thank you for being here. North Sports Dynasty headquarters. Next week, I'll obviously have the mock draft, or not the mock draft. I'm going to have some Dynasty talk. The week after that will be mock draft. We'll set out the post to see if anybody wants to play Jeopardy. And again, thank you all for being here. Much love. Shout out to everybody in the comment sections. I love you guys. You are what make me want to keep doing this show. I literally spend time to just come on here and fucking talk shit to my friends and spew my really dumb sports knowledge, which if you want to see more, I'm writing for Trade Talk Sports and NHL Trade Talk. So go check out those sports sites and tell them I sent you when you drop it into the comments section. And yeah, much love. Oh, I got the gambling chat going. Forgot the gambling chat. And who is Boob's new setup looks sick. Lucy, who is that? Oh, speaking of gambling chat, Shelby, thanks for popping in, buddy. Yeah, speaking of gambling chat, if you want to, the last couple of days we haven't done the greatest, but we overall have been doing really good. If you guys want to come into the gambling chat, make some money, message us, let us know. We would love to have you. The group is really fun. They're really, really open. Like fucking great guys. I'm also going to be setting up another group chat for strictly just sports stuff because I've been like pulled in every direction by a few people in just like straight up DMs talking about, either the Vikings or the 49ers, about Dynasty, about the Packers and all that kind of stuff. And it seems like a lot of people want to get connected with some other people to talk sports. So I am going to start reaching out to some people to see if they want to be involved in that, which is just basically going to be a group chat for just talking sports, kind of like, and Kyle knows this, is kind of like, we got the Dynasty chat and a couple other group chats that go out there and stuff like that. And then you're talking about one thing, and then you're like, oh shit, I was talking about that here. And then you talk about, so I'm just gonna make a big one, get a bunch of the boys and the girls in it, and just talk sports if everybody wants to be a part of it. So yeah, we got a big sports community going on here, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, and we're gonna have a very, very, very big nostalgia show coming up. So stay tuned for that. Hit me up. I feel like gambling chat has turned into a sports chat most of it basically has. Exactly, right? So much love. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody for being in the comment section. I'll be back next Friday with some more sports talk and some more talk about what's going on around the leagues. Much love. Thank you guys for being there. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.